As someone who's been a gamer since they were 3 years old, the first thing I ever wanted to do was work in game development. And somewhere along the way, it morphed and it changed, and I wasn't going to go into games. I was going to, become an actor. But I worked at a video game shop. I was always adjacent to it. And then something like Saros comes along, and I never thought it would get better than just doing a voice as a character, and then to be scanned, to do mocap, to do pcap. I never dared to think that I could be the lead of a game. I never thought that people could play as me in this way, and it still doesn't feel very real.
Take one, Mark.
It's odd, but it's also the thing I've dreamed about since I was a kid. It's nuts.
When I saw the actors, our ensemble cast, just walk in all suited up, it was like, man, this is really happening. This is really cool. And I went to our creative director, Greg, and just kind of like, this is real, man. Like, this is exciting. I think the energy that we had on that stage with all the actors, all the crew, you could see Greg's eyes light up in the moment, like, we're doing this.
It's always special to have a script and then to watch an actor actually bring it to life, and actually bring it to life in a way you can't even imagine, and bring so much honesty and sort of truth and emotion. It was really powerful, because obviously when you write something that feels emotional, you're not sure how far it goes, but great actors just lift the material.
Lies! This is what it does. It gets in your head, and it twists, and it turns. They're here. They need us. I can't let them.
First day on the pcap stage.
Yeah.
Paint me a picture.
Hated it. First day on pcap is a very strange feeling. I think you spend most of your time worrying about how you look in this lycra wetsuit thing, wishing that maybe you had gone gym. That takes about an hour or two before you stop feeling silly. It's like a really strange thing, because it starts quite tech heavy. It starts quite mechanically, right? Calibrations, and you have people messing around with you, and I have to calibrate my fingers, and we did all of that. And then once that hour and a half of tech is done, it just felt like an empty stage with actors and a director and a script.
Because this is an actual truthful moment to how to react to the process. It's not, I've been caught.
I think most actors anyway are very comfortable with having to do a lot with very little. From day one in a rehearsal space, for instance, 9 times out of 10, you are working without props. You are working without stage, furniture, any of that type of stuff. All of it's, you don't have your costume. You go right back to that very recognizable world that you've been in for years, which is just, you and me are doing a scene? Great, okay, cool. And this all just has gone. That's a table, okay. This is an alleyway. All right, cool.
So it was always about trying to get the actors in the right place from the beginning. We kind of actually started with a lot more of the more dream elements, so that way they didn't have to know exactly who they were. They could be more dreamlike. And from there, we basically went into a lot more of the realistic, naturalist sort of performances. So it was kind of an act of organizing the shoot to make sure that we could allow the actors to kind of settle into who they were, but also allow them to build their characters as they went on.
I have to name drop a little bit here, but I'm been good friends with Troy Baker for a long time, and he's kind of been a bit of a pcap, mocap mentor for me. I remember him saying it was the purest form of acting you'll ever do. And he was right. As soon as we started that, and I realized, okay, I'm not playing a camera. I can put aside all of my technique, and actually now it's just about me and you.
This is for us. And come on, don't you want to live like a king?
And the beauty of it is if you and I have a scene together, whatever's happening between us, we feel like we want to be closer than we probably should be. Cool. Well, allow the emotions to do that, and don't worry about the blocking. If the scene takes you closer, cool. It's all right. Later on, they'll separate. Yeah. I truly believe of all the mediums I've done, like pcap, mocap is the purest form of acting. The closest is just literally 2 kids doing make-believe in their garden or living room. That is as close as it is to the purest form of imagination.
Take 3, Mark.
You can come out.
It was promised!
Rahul Kohli is a fantastic talent. He takes this very serious, but at the same time, he's a gamer as well. And so he knows what he's looking for in a video game character. You know, on set, he had so many notes even with the script, like, hey, what if we do this? What if we do that? And that was really interesting to see him collaborate with Greg, because it was like 2 kids in a sandbox playing with action figures, you know? I was just like, no, man, like, that, let's do this, you know? And honestly, they created a fantastic spectacle.
Having to do that 2 beats, and like to find the subtleties of that one being different from that one. If it's like it gets in our heads and it twists and it turns it, and he brings himself down and then addresses them.
So I think in the collaboration with Rahul, it was about how to add these little details for players and how to bring this level of authenticity. So whether players are watching the performance capture or hearing the voiceover, it feels authentic and it feels real.
Again, when you work on TV and film, and even some games, you get in, and for that week, month, 2 months, that's your interpretation, that's the character, that's as much work as you're able to do on it, and you're out. That was how you felt about that character and that story at that time, and then you're done. But with something like Saros, over the course of 3 years, my attitude about Arjun evolved. And who I thought Arjun was when I first joined versus who Arjun became a year later, and a year later after that also changed. I had to catch a flight, and Housemarque wouldn't have access to me for 6 months, and they needed the trailer. And in order for me to make my flight, I had to record at the other side of town in LA crazy early, and I was stuck in traffic, and I was so worked up and angry at 7, 8 in the morning. We recorded the first teaser trailer, and that voice that came out was angrier, more intense than anything we had done or explored previously.
I always come back stronger.
Greg and I both immediately felt like we were like, wait, that's him. That's the guy. That's who we've been looking for this whole time. It's LA traffic and an early flight and having to come in and do a recording for a trailer and going, why can't we do this remotely? And being angry and not being good enough to hide it. And then that was where Arjun was really born.
All right, here we go from the top.
I search for you and find only death. But I always come back stronger.
As much as I studied Shakespeare and started off on stage and all of those things, I wasn't an actor to do that. I was an actor because I grew up on action movies. I grew up with Harrison Ford. I wanted to be that. And you don't know where your career is going to go. You don't know how the world's going to perceive you. You don't know how you're going to look or sound later on into your career. But I always wanted to be Indiana Jones. I always wanted to be the Han Solo, the anti-hero, the Blade Runner. That's what I wanted. But that's not where my career went. And when the State of Play happened, Greg didn't tell me that the key art was done, and I didn't know. So live, it showed up. And it was the over-shoulder action hero shot, and I immediately texted him and I was like, what is that? Is that the thing? Is that really the art? And he was like, yeah, that's the key art. Having the hero over the shoulder shot is a wish fulfillment. That's how I've wanted to be perceived, or it's kind of the body of work I'd want to do. And it was there. It felt like I don't know, 30 years in the making to get that key art. Yeah. That's going to stay with me.